All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out as always. So some more Vynnset gameplay for you guys today. So again, you guys really like this short form sort of gameplay review that I've been doing. So I'm going to keep them coming. It's really helpful for my gameplay as well. You guys have been great with your comments, picking out some lines that I might not see in the moment or that I even missed the second time around. So it's good to review. I'm trying to pick out things that we could have done better. But also, I think this is helpful for people who are trying to learn Vynnset as well, to get an idea of how the lines go or what are some of the possibilities, because it does take reps. The hero's not super straightforward. So being able to see the lines or being able to know what's sort of like possible in terms of creepers and making extra rune chance and getting extra action points with weird ways. So anyways, we're going to take a look at another game that I played a little while ago. This one's against a Phi. So we're going to see how it goes. I can't honestly remember. I recorded this a little while ago, this game, so I can't remember how it went. But Phi is not particularly scary right now. He can still very much go off and present some big numbers. I am choosing to show some respect here for the aggro potential that Phi can put out clearly as I'm sort of like clicking through my defensive package. And this is funny because this is sort of how I'm approaching the sideboarding here is sort of how I internally feel about Phi right now. Is like I provided some respect by clicking all of my defensive pieces and then I was like, maybe I'll not go with the sync belows. I'll just run 60 reacts and put some easy offense. I think to me, Beseech the Demagon is the easiest offensive piece. It costs 0. It doesn't require setup like Revel in Runeblood. It doesn't require a tunic resource like Envelop in Darkness. It doesn't require a red target like Tear Through the Portal. So Beseech the Demagon is like if you want to start siding in aggro pieces, Beseech is sort of like your first pick, I guess. So we're going 60 reacts, a little bit of a blended game plan here. Aggro leaning mid-range. Turn 0, easy enough. We only had 2 banished targets in Deathly Delight and Funeral Moon, so I'm choosing to play them both out, banishing the Deathly Delight to kind of save for a future turn. I think about that as like floating 5 damage to the next turn. I'm also just playing Funeral Moon out with our action points since I'm not going to be doing anything else, and I'm probably going to arsenal this Succumb to Temptation if I had to guess, but either of these cards left over represent an extra action point or a go wide. So either one is good. We drew into a lot of our blues here, which is fine. We don't often pitch. We're often just trying to cheat things in, but we do have some block. We don't need both of these machinations, so I'm probably going to start blocking something here. I'm choosing not to respect the first thing that they're throwing out at us because it's just an on-play effect. There's no real on-hit. Now Mounting Anger does have an on-hit effect, so this is one that I'm going to be looking to maybe throw some cards in front of because we want to prevent that +1 if possible. I'm choosing to give them the Widespread Annihilation. I'm looking at this Widespread Ruin as the banished target for our next turn because Annihilation, when I'm only on 2 rune chance, is going to be challenging and it can end up rotting in our banish zone. So just choosing to give it up. Cover up that it's essentially 6 value. I'm giving them 6 value as well. If it hit, we get +1. So, and then I'm choosing to hold back this Machinations. It's a good like arsenal target, as I mentioned before. I don't need extra action points next turn. It's very unlikely that I'll break Quillhand this early in the game. So the chances are that we'll only be doing one thing next turn. But Phi runs a large volume of reds. This is something we have to be aware of when we're sitting across a Phi or a Syndra or something like that, is that even though they're running AB in this case in Tide Flippers, they're not really going to want to pitch unless they get an extra blue, which is rare in these decks that are running high volumes of reds. So Succumb to Temptation, I don't really need the Machinations. If they presented something else that's scary, right now they're just presenting vanilla damage that I'm happy to take. And even this is vanilla damage, but now I'm looking at this Machinations as a potential, just soak up 3 damage, stay at a higher life total, because all it's going to do next turn is sit in my arsenal, because all I'm going to do is banish this Widespread Ruin, play out either the Widespread Ruin or the Delight, threatening Succumb. So Machinations is just a sideboard target, or an arsenal target, so in this case I'm favoring just throwing it in front of this lava burst. So they go looking for a Phoenix Flame that they are just going to put in their arsenal for the next turn. So we go ahead and banish our only card left in hand, Ruin, and we're going to go ahead and present the Ruin for 3 and 6. Ruin, when we're threatening Succumb, since Phi does run a volume of 2 blocks, they could cover up Deathly Delight more easily. So I'm choosing to send the 6 attack. It requires them to have 2 3 blocks, or it requires them to give us, equipment if they want to snuff this. And as predicted, Phi doesn't really like to block and Tide Flipper, so we can really punish them with this hand disruption with Succumb. So we're going ahead to play this Succumb, likely going to hit. We're going to take a look at what they have in hand. I'll pause it for a second. So Ignite doesn't scare me. Engulfing Flame Wave, I think it's a Chain Ender. I don't remember. First Tenet, there's nothing we can do, like interaction-wise. A lot of these cards cost 1, like Mounting Anger as well. So that's a consideration. Ignite and Fire Tenet, I think, for Strike or whatever, are the only 0 costs in this hand. I'm still looking at Mounting Anger as a potential target because it's a good amount of value on hit +1, and the 4, unless we draw into our defensive pieces, the 4 is like not the easiest thing to cover up, like breakpoint wise. So at first glance, like I'm targeting the Mounting Anger, but I'm probably going to read through these. So I miss what and go. So this is just a 0 for 3 go again with an uninteractable effect. Ignite is not scary at all, but I wonder if I take a starter. If I take a starter, they just play the other starter, right? And they can still come in with Mounting Anger. We know they have Phoenix Flame in Arsenal. Engulfing Flame Wave costs 2. When this hits, reveal the top of... So I'm definitely not taking this. They can keep this because they need to pitch 2 for it, which is going to be challenging. Maybe a Furnace thing or something. But so if it hits, they reveal the top of their deck. Action card less than number of Draconics. They can play it this turn. So the 2 on it is really awkward. So I'm probably going to leave that in hand. So yeah, I don't know, honestly. So do we take a starter and then just force them to do like Ignite, pitch to Mounting Anger? Or do we just take Mounting Anger and then they'll just have like the Ignite and First Tenet? Again, Mounting Anger to me is like the scariest piece in their hand. So like I did end up targeting that. I'm honestly not the best because I'm such a specialist in Vynnset. I don't play very many other heroes. Like I will dabble, and I am very, very interested in Gravy Bones, I must admit. But that's something that, like, it's something to be considered. Like, I think being a specialist is valuable. You get to know your deck very, very well. And in reps, you get to know the matchups very, very well. But you're never, if you're more open and you're playing a wide swath of heroes, you are going to be more comfortable. When you look at another hero's hand, you know right away, oh, this does this. I don't really have that. That's where like being a specialist sort of can hurt you a little bit, is you don't have like a fulsome understanding of what the other heroes want to do. I do have like a baseline understanding, of course, in playing the reps on the other side of the table. But like, and I used to play a little Phi, but I haven't played Phi in a long time. So, you know, the decks are constantly evolving and there's new pieces. So that's something to be said. Like, I think there's value in both being a specialist, but also being willing to like play and practice with other heroes. It's going to give you a really good understanding of what those other heroes want to do. So we're choosing to follow this up with our extra action point from Succumb after stripping a card with Flail here. Give them a decision. I like it. Do you want to give us a block on Tiger Swipe or Flamescale Furnace, or do you want to give us a Rune Chant? So they're giving us Furnace here. Cover this up. Yep, that makes sense to me. So we're just ticking down some of the armor, chipping away at it. And we have 2 in Banish. We have a Phantom Wraith, and I can't remember what the other piece... Oh, we got something off top. What did we get off top? Phantom Wraith, Banished... Oh, yes, okay, blah, blah, blah. What did we hit off top from the... we'll find out. I'll zoom back. When we break the chain... we got the Phantom Wraith. What did we have now? Okay, the Delight. That's right. We had the Delight. I chose to throw the Ruin. I got sidetracked. So now we have a Phantom Wraith and a Widespread Ruin in Banish. So they're sending the Ignite. We don't care. It has an uninteractable effect as well. So, oh, that's one thing. It makes sense that we targeted the Mounting Anger because of Ignite's effect. Yes, okay. So again, if I'm not that familiar with what Ignite does, so that's why it's beneficial. So they are going to pitch to play the Engulfing Flame Wave since they get a 1-cost discount from Ignite. I should have seen that before. But that's fine. It's 5. I can't remember. Oh, it's look at top of deck, and then they can, like, luck into something. I am choosing to just let it hit. No, I'm not. Hunting Rendition. Sorry, I'm all over the place. We haven't been evaluating our own hand here. So we're blocking with Widespread Ruin because I'm looking at this Deathly Whale as a potential target for banish. We are bottomed out on Rune Chants, unfortunately, and we have seen our first Malefic, which is good. It's going to start our Rune Chant generation going. So I don't know. I really like Deathly Whale as a target. Obviously, it really plays to our game plan to make to get our Rune Chant generation started. We are so choosing to block with the Widespread Ruin. Excuse me. Choosing to discard the Haunting Rendition to cover up the full 5. We're not going to let them look at the top of their deck. We're going to make a Rune Chant. When we banish Deathly Whale, play Malefic Incantation, we'll be able to play one of our 2-cost Rune Gate cards and end our turn on a Rune Chant, which will facilitate a wide turn with Whale, hopefully in 2 turns. But yeah, Whale is just such, even if you don't have the Rune Chants to support Whale, it's a really nice, I don't mind taking Blood Debt for Whale, because it's really like the piece that can facilitate some of those huge turns, right? So between the two here, it doesn't really matter. The choice, actually, so we have 2-cost Rune Gate cards that we could choose from, Wraith or Delight. What I'm thinking is, in order to get full value on Delight, you want to take a damage to Vynnset's ability, right? Play a Shadow non-attack action. So the ideal situation is we draw into a Shadow non-attack in order to turn on the on-hurt for both Whale and Delight. So then we get full value, 2 Rune Chants from Whale when we close the chain, and 2 life gain off of Delight. So I'm choosing right now, since all we would be doing was threatening 1 life gain. If they take the Rune Chants, I'm just choosing to throw my Vanilla 6, which is an extra point of damage anyways, and hoping to luck into a big turn that could turn on both Whale and Delight. So I'm not, I did say it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter in the case that we could have played both, but you know, if we're trying to play to every single point of value, and this is beautiful, we got perfect payoff for this. In this case, we're either going to banish the Funeral Moon or the Widespread Ruin. It doesn't really matter. It kind of does matter because we want to play the Funeral Moon out before end of turn so that we begin our turn. No, it doesn't matter because this is the start of our turn. So if we banish the Ruin and we go Beseech, do we have to break Quill Hand this turn, I wonder? Because we don't really, we could go Beseech. No. There is a line here. What am I talking about? Banish Widespread Ruin, Beseech, take the damage to Vynnset. Now we can Funeral Moon at instant speed to make our 3rd Rune Chant. That allows us to go Deathly Whale with 1 Unpreventable, which turns on Succumb no matter what. So no matter what they choose to do, we're going to play Succumb. Break the chain, we'll have 3 Rune Chants to play out the Deathly Delight. So that's the line for sure. But we're going to see what they do. Yeah, I forgot it is their turn. I'm all over the place today. I can't really think. So even if we just take damage, like if we take the 0, we can't take 0. If we take a damage to whatever Fi is doing this turn, we could just play the Funeral Moon out at instant speeds before the end of the turn. But it doesn't actually matter because we could just Beseech, take the damage Funeral Moon. In this case, but we do need the Funeral Moon, right? So we kind of need this whole hand. So we're just going to take this 4. They're going to undo, that's fine. They're going to undo, that's fine. They have to redo the turn, that's fine. They saw a different line. It's Talishar after all, so we're just practicing. So no big deal, of course. So let's just zoom forward, see what they do differently. So they pitch slightly differently. They still have to open with Phoenix Flame, which tells me that they have an awkward turn. Then they're going to be able to play the Blaze headlong. They pitch the Devotion instead. And then they might just sit on this to try and build a 5-card hand. And again, it didn't matter whether we play Fury Moon at end of turn or in response to the Vynnset trigger. It's 2 different ways to get to 3 rune chants at the beginning of our turn. So here we're just going to take the easy route, play it out now. And then we'll have less to do on our turn. Banish Widespread Ruin. Beseech the Demagon. Still take the damage because we want to guarantee 2 rune chant generation on Whale. Then Succumb and probably Delight to get the 7 value. The 5 attack plus the 2 life gain. But, I mean, you know, the game, like, the life totals are still fairly close here, right? So it is important. I'm still feeling ahead, honestly, even though our life total is a little bit lower, just because we know we're presenting insane damage on this turn. And we decided to... interesting. I don't know why we decide... I guess because it doesn't matter what they do. I don't know why we didn't choose to play the Beseech. I guess we're just choosing to hold back information. However, the Beseech would make an extra rune chant here. I understand what I'm saying is, like, but like they could have snuffed this, right? Like if they had an awkward hand, and I think this was wrong. I think we should have played the Beseech just outright, because it just guarantees this game plan, right? Because there is still a world where they cover up the 3 rune chants with their AB, and then turn Succumb off, and then it becomes awkward where we have to, like, creepers the Succumb or something like that. So I think this was a mistake. I think we just Beseech, even though it's like giving them all the information. I think we should have opened the turn on Beseech. Oh, I'm choosing to go 3 wide. I see. So interesting. And I guess this makes sense because this is late game in this context, right? Like the Fi game is never going to go long. So I'm choosing... It is still a gamble. No, it's not really a gamble, because if we creepers in the Beseech, we choose to take the damage. So even if they snuffed it, we still guarantee 2 chance. If they cover it all up, they go down to 1 card in hand, presumably. I'm just like, hypothetical. We play the Beseech from creepers, we take the damage, we still get 1 from Malefic, 1 from Deathly Whale since we took damage. Then we go 2 and whatever, Delight, let's say. 2 and 8. And then we close the chain, have another action point, break Vexing Quillhand, go Ruin. So I'm choosing to just empty my Banish Zone, send 3 at their face, overwhelm them with damage, essentially, yeah. So... yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I didn't see that line again today, but I was on it on this day. So yeah, they did have the hand texture to be able to snuff this if they wanted to, but again, the way we played it out didn't really matter. So now we're just looking for a banish target. Art of the Dragonfire costs money. Art of the Dragon Blood, I don't remember. So this is not a starter. This is a 0 conditional go again. Then they have another conditional go again. This is like a finisher. Do they have unconditional go again? I just chose to take the blue to make their turn a lot more awkward. They're not going to be able to swing the blade easily. They're not going to be able to send out those finishers. So now we break the chain. We make... so we end on 3. Oh, because they took damage, yeah. They took damage. We took damage. So we have 3 rune chants, 3 and 5. And we're going to have 1... yeah. Yeah, so I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't see this 3 wide line with creepers. I was just kind of thinking status quo here. But yeah, there's always potential, especially like, I guess one thing to say is like, be aware, as a general rule for Vexing Quillhand, I tend to want to save it as late as possible, which is why I probably didn't look at it. But the other thing we need to consider in this matchup is that Fi is never going to go very long. So like this game is probably like 2 or 3 turns more at max. So this is essentially like the last turn. And because we took their blues, we're forcing cards out of their hand. They're just going to cover this up, but we're still presenting another 8 after this. So we're going to force them down to 3. And we're going to gain 2 up to 19. So, you know, we started this turn at a life deficit, and now we're very much in the lead. So, yeah, I mean, we're taking the risk that we're bottoming out, right? So we could essentially draw into a clunker. Like, there's a world. Like, the deck is designed with a high enough vol. Oh, and we very much luck out with a call off top that we're just going to sit on. But, yeah. We designed the deck in a way like high volume of Rune Gate cards or high volume of cards that we can play from Banish. We have Mara to thank for that, as well as other people who kind of highlighted the fact that we need, you know, a reasonable volume of cards that we can access from Banish so that we don't draw into those clunker hands. You know, I think there's a 6% chance of drawing into a hand without a Banish target. So now let's just take a look at this turn. So this is where it gets a little more awkward, right? Because now they're passing the turn, so we can't get our Runeshin on Haunting Rendition. We don't have Tunic Resource, and so we have Call. So we're going to have to banish either the Wraith or the Whale, play out the Malefic, and then do we just pass? Like, this is the trade-off, right? We went really, really wide and pushed them way, way low. But if we chose not to bottom out on Rune Chance and keep Vexing Quillhand, this turn would have also been impactful, right? So it's the choice between like concentrating your damage at one turn or spreading it out over 2 turns. And in this case, I don't know that it would have mattered. Like, they would have been at 11 and we would have just provided more threats and try to keep them on the back foot while keeping our Rune Chant generation going, right? So I don't hate the decision I made on the last turn. But this is what I'm talking about, like, with the Vexing Quillhand being a break in case of emergency, is when you bottom out on Rune Chance without that safety net of Vexing Quillhand, the hand texture just becomes more awkward. And it becomes harder to string something together. Like, in this case, we cannot easily make 2 Rune Chants. So essentially what it comes down to is if we want to play something, we're going to have to pitch. And that feels bad, especially when we're off Tunic. So do we just choose that to turn, like, is this turn just a setup turn? So, yeah, I'm not glad that this happened, but it's a good way to highlight some of the decision points that, like, snowball, right? So, like, it's exciting to have a 3-wide turn, but breaking Vexing Quillhand comes with a cost, and that cost is some awkwardness here. So the choice is now, I think we banish Deathly Whale no matter what, because again, it's this really important, like, Rune Chant generation engine. The choice now is, do we play out Malefic to, like, do more setup, or do we just want to keep pressure because they're at 3? So if we present anything, even 1 and 6, which is probably going to be the choice here, we're stripping at least 3 cards probably, right? If not 2 and some equipment, but I think the call is to play out the Phantom Wraith pitching these 2. It feels bad because these are great pieces on the opponent's turn as well as, like, as setup, but yeah, I don't think we really have a choice. But this is the choice we make when we break Vexing Quillhand. And it's okay. Like, we're still getting, like, this is a 3-card 7. It's not amazing, but at this point in the game, especially when we're threatening call, so we are going to at least strip 2 cards. So they're going to have to, they're reacting. Oh, Loyalty Beyond the Grave. I forget that they have, I was like, wait, they don't run reactions. I guess they do now. Loyalty Beyond the Grave. Interesting. Really cool card, by the way. So they have to give us Loyalty Beyond the Grave. We are going to strip a 2nd card. So they're going to be on a 3-card hand while we're at 18. Like, honestly, they do still have Mask Up, but that's fine. So again, I mean, this is fine. Like, we have the Whale and we have the Dirge to facilitate it, like, no matter what. We don't have a good banish target. So this is that 6% whiff that I was talking about before. 6% is not 0, so it does happen. But in this case, like, I think we probably banish the Succumb is such a good piece, though. They're at 2, so Succumb is going to become less likely to hit. So, well, Sonata is actually quite hard to play out right now. I wonder if we banish the Sonata, Play Malefic Dirge, and then Whale threatening Succumb. That's probably the line. Yeah, we can't, like, face Purgatory is not online because we don't have a thing, so we're just gonna have to take some damage here. We could give them Succumb to Temptation if we were, like, worried about our life total going too low. So, I don't know. They're not going to get much value off Breaking Mask this turn, so I don't know that they're going to do that. But even if they do, I think we're okay. So we're just taking damage down to 6. See if they choose to Break Mask. Like, it's kind of all... Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of now or never for them, especially when we're sitting on a 4-card hand. So they are going ahead and doing it. Salt the Wound for 5? Potentially 5 or 6 if we let this hit, but we'll just give creepers. It's too late for creepers. That's another thing is, like, late game, it's so unlikely for you to get creepers off because you need to keep, like, a huge hand. So we're just going to give them creepers and use it for our value. They're going to come in with a 5 power Salt the Wound. I don't think we can go I don't think we can go down to 1. So I think I don't know why I'm looking at 6. I think Sonata is, like, our banish target. We could technically give Succumb and Sonata and just banish the Malefic because we are coming in. Like, we're going to strip their hand probably next turn. But I don't know. So we're just choosing to give Face Purg and Tunic. I don't hate this decision. Take 2, go to 4 so that we have, like, all of the pieces. We have setup. We have hand threatening if they do choose to go to 1. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Sonata Galaxia is the banish target here. Yeah. So now Malefic Incantation, Dirge, 1 of the chance, and then present the Whale for 4 and 6, 1 on the back, threatening a second one on the back, threatening their hand, which they don't know about. But they need a blue. They need a blue, or else they are dead. They have a blue. Good for them. So they drew into their blue. I don't know. See, that's the thing about the Fi deck and not playing Fi more recently is I don't know the volume of blues that they tend to play these days. So they chose to go to 1. They are trying to still, like, keep a hand and be able to pressure us. This can't hit, so Succumb doesn't matter. However, since they are giving us their hand, we can Succumb still and send Break Chain, send Flail, or just send Flail. It doesn't matter. They are dead. So we're Breaking Chain just to do extra damage, and we're presenting 1, 1, and 1. GG. So it was very close. And as you could see, I don't know. Like, I would actually be really interesting to know what you guys think in terms of, like, that one turn. The turn where we chose to go 3 wide with the Creepers Break Quill hand, do you think that was correct? Like, I honestly don't know the answer. Like, it could have gone either way. If we didn't do that and we just went 2 wide, we would have floated Rune Chance. No, we wouldn't have. But, would we have? No, we would have floated Quill hand, though. So we wouldn't have ended on Rune Chance. We would have ended on with a Widespread Ruin in our Banish Zone. We would have been at 19 health. They would have been at 11. And we would still have Quill hand, though. So that next turn, we would have been able to maybe... I can't remember the makeup of our hand. But anyways, I guess the question is, at that point, did it make sense to just, like, go 3 wide, put insane pressure on, bottom out, and hope we draw into a hand that facilitates us to continue going? And that kind of requires a Dirge, or honestly kind of just Dirge, unless we're on Tunic, then Envelop in Darkness. But anyways, yeah, I'd be interested to know how you guys kind of, like, navigate Quill hand and when you choose to pop it and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, as always. Hopefully you guys got something from that gameplay. There were some interesting sort of decision points throughout that we could definitely debate. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, as always, and we'll chat real soon. Cheers.